back to my channel. So today I'll be showing you guys how to make this off shoulder dress, box pleated dress, but I'm going to be putting a pocket at the bottom of the dress. That's the box pleat part. So let's get into the video. The first thing I'm going to do is to cut the top part. So guys, what you're going to do is measure yourself from this part here to this end here, right? You're going to measure yourself and do the same thing for your back. And then you're going to fold your fabric into two. So guys, this is it here. So that measurement that you got, you're going to place it. So I've gone ahead, cut two pieces here, one that is open this way for my front panel, and then the second one is my back panel that has zip allowance of like 1.5. So how I got the width for my front panel is just divide your bust measurement by 4 plus 1. So I did my bust measurement divided by 4. Bust measurement is 42, divided by 4 is 10.5. Then I added like 1.5 to it just to have extra seam allowance inside of the cloth. But you can just use 1 inch for your seam allowance. It doesn't matter. So the next thing you're going to do is so that's how I got my width for the front panel. And then using the front panel, I traced my back panel and then added like 1.5 for zip allowance to it. So how I got my length is I measured from my shoulder to so I want this off shoulder to start at around 6 inches, but you can start at 4. Mostly like people usually use 4. So for off shoulder they come down by 4, but I just find that sometimes that 4 is too high for me. So to bring it down a little, I want it to start at 6, right? But I left half an inch here to attach the cape with. So by the time I attach my cape with this half an inch here, my top is going to start at 6. So and then I added extra half an inch at the bottom for my seam allowance. So in total, all I have here is the length I'm using plus extra 1 inch, half an inch at the top and half an inch at the bottom. So the next thing you're going to do is now placing that measurement that you got. So for me, I got 15 divided by 2, that's going to be 7.5. So I'm going to add that here. Another way to do this is just use your shoulder measurement divided by 2, but in front you're going to subtract maybe about 1 inch, but the back you're going to leave it with just your shoulder measurement, because the back is broader than the front. But if you want to have the accurate one, just measure it on yourself. Take your tape, place it your armpit to the other side on top of your bust, and the same at the back. So after that, the next thing I'm going to do now is place my tape back again at that same spot here, and then I'm going to put in my armhole. The armhole I'm working with is about 19 inches divided by 2. That's going to be 9.5. So I'm going to mark that in here and then mark my armhole right here. And then after that, the next thing you're going to do is to mark your bust measurement. So the bust measurement I'm working with is the width of this fabric, so I'm going to leave it that way. And then you're going to come down to your waist. The waist I'm working with is 36 divided by 4. That's going to be 9 plus extra 2 inches, 1 inch of darting and 1 inch of seam allowance. That's going to be 11. I'm going to mark that here, and then I'm going to just connect it up to this point and cut it out. So I'm going to cut all the way out here. So guys, I've gone ahead and cut it out. So you see my front is in, is slightly like is in here, and then the back panel is out here. So just by, I think, by like half an inch or so. So it depends on you. Some people still, their back and their front is the same. Some people, their front might even be slightly bigger than the back. So it just depends. So after this now, my front panel is ready. If you want, you can trace out your lining if you're using lining, but I'm not going to be using lining. And what I'm going to do is just go ahead, put in my dart. So to put in my dart, I'm just going to mark my nipple to nipple measurement, which is like 8 inches divided by 2, that's 4, plus half an inch, that's 4.5. So I'm going to mark it here. And then what you're going to do is just to mark your shoulder to bust, put back your tape again. So remember, this is going to be, let's say this is going to be your shoulder, right? This is just like you're drawing your normal bodice, right? It comes down here, this is your shoulder, this is your normal neckline here, right? But this is now your armhole. But the only difference here is that you're coming down 4 inches, or you're coming down 5 inches and then removing it. So now it's giving you that off shoulder look, right? Every other thing is still the same in the body of this dress here. So what I'm going to do now is you're going to mark your own. This is my bust line is at 11, so my dart is going to stop about, my dart will stop like 1 inch or 1.5 before my bust here. So it's going to stop somewhere here. I'm going to bring down that line. This is my 4.5 inches line. I'm going to bring it up here, and then I'm going to connect my dart 1/2 inch on each side, and then I'm going to just draw it up and then draw it here. So when I go to sew, I'm just going to pinch it out and give it a dart. I'm going to do that for the front panel, but my back panel, my dart is going to go all the way to the end here. So guys, this is it here. I've gone ahead and finished it off. So for me, I didn't use lining, so I just used bias to finish up this armhole. When I finish the armhole, I closed it up. You see, I've gone ahead putting my dart at the back. So this is my dart on each side of the back here, one here and then the other one. You see, I closed up the side. What I'm going to do now is to cut the bottom. So what I'm using here, you can use 2 times of your waist measurement, you can use 2.5, you can use 3 times of your waist measurement. So guys, what I'm using here is like 2.5 of my waist measurement, and as you can see, I'm using basically the end. I cut I'm using Akara fabric, right? So you can see the 2 ends are here, and this is like the front pattern. I cut 2 times of it, right? So but the second one I've split it into 2. So this is going to be my back, the back panel of the bottom of this dress. And after that, how to calculate the bottom is like how you're going to calculate the length you're going to use here is just your shoulder to waist. You're going to subtract it from the full length of the dress. Whatever you get is going to be the bottom girder, right? So that's what I have here. So for me, my bottom girder is like 26 plus extra 1.5, 1 inch of folding the end, and then 1/2 inch of attaching it to the top bodice. So in total, I have about 27.5 is what I have. So but remember, I told you guys I'm going to be putting pockets here, so that's why whatever length you're using for your girder, for the pleat, the first part of it, you're going to the first thing, let's say is just 1 whole width of fabric. The first, you're going to divide it into 2, right? And then the first half of it is going to be your front panel. Then the second half of it, you're going to divide it for your back panel, because there's still going to be zip at the back. So that's why you split the back into 2. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put back my front panel, right? So this is my front panel, the one I did not split into 2, and then I'm going to come to the side. Remember, this here is the center back, this is the center front. I'm going to move over to this side now, and I'm going to attach my pocket on this end here, in this pocket here. So guys, you see, this is one side of the back that I'm using here, and then this is how I attach my pocket. So I just took the piece of fabric, the rectangular piece of fabric I'm using, just sewed it. You see, this is the right side of the back panel, sewed it down here. Remember, I said come down 2 inches, sew it down on this side, and then take one side of my front panel that is supposed to join to this side of my back panel. I did the same thing here. Do it like this here, come down 2 inches, put in the dart again. You see, my right side here now is facing the right side of my back panel. So now that the pocket is in here, all I have to do now is just come down this way, come down, close up that 2 inches, close it up, go this way, come down here. Oh, this side is already folded, it's folded, so I don't need to close this seams. So all I have to do is just come down after that 2 inches, maybe come in here by come down, so like 1/2 inch of this part here, close it up and go all the way down, double stitch it here, then come down again, leaving about 5 inches for my hand to fit in, or 6 inches for my hand to fit in, and then come down after that 6 inches, close up the remaining, and then finish it up here and close up my stitch all the way down. So that's basically how you do this here. So guys, like I said, you can see my stitch going all the way down here, and then going from this direction, and then another one coming up from here, and then going this direction. So that's my pockets. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So guys, I've gone ahead and put in my pocket. So you see there's one on this side, and then there's one on this side too. So the next thing I will do here, if you're not going to put pocket in your own, all you have to do is just get your fabric that's this way, the way it's long like this, like rectangular this way. So guys, you see the way I folded it now because it can't fit in to show you guys. So you just fold your fabric into two. You're going to notch the center here. I'll notch my center here. So this is going to be my center front. You see there are two sides to it. So once you fold your fabric into two, you fold it again, and then you know that this is your center, and then this is going to be the side. So you're going to notch this side again, just so you know that this is your side, and then this is going to be the center back. The part with the opening is going to be your center back, which is where you're going to put in your zip, right? So now the folded this end here now is going to be my center front. So all you have to do now is to start pleating from this center front, right? So I'm going to open it up. I know where my notch is, so I'm going to start from this part. If you want, you can even start from one end. It doesn't matter. You can start from anywhere you want. Just know that this side here is going to meet up with the side of your top, and this side here is going to meet up with the other side of your top, and in between here, all this part here is going to be the center of your top, your center front. So guys, I'm just going to put a video on how to do this pleating. I've made a video on that before. So basically, just you move your fabric this way, and then you make the other one meet it coming this way. You move the next one the other direction, and then you make the other one this way, right? So it goes this way, and then the next one meets it this way. So that's basically how you keep going. So but you see, the ones that I've done, all you have to do is to use the side seam or the notch that you made as your landmark for it. So what you're going to do is, as I'm pleating, I'm just going to check, okay, will this so this is my side seam, right? So this is my center seam, this is my side seam. So I'm just going to check if this here, the pleat I made, is okay for the side seam. Like if this, because I know that this side here is my pocket, and I know all from this side to this side is going to fit in at the sides, at my back seam, sorry. So I'm going to just make sure that it fits in, that the pleat I made will fit in here. If it will not fit in here, I will just unpin it and readjust the plates. The same thing for the center. After pleating it, you just use the bottom of your dress, right? The top of your dress, sorry. So you check from this side seam to this side seam. You check if your pleat will fit into that part, and then you pin it up. If it will not, if it won't fit, just remove the pin and readjust it. Ahead and measured round my shoulder. That's round your shoulder for the off shoulder part of this here. So what I got is 47. So that is what I have here. This length is 47, and then I cut two of it here. So there are two pieces of this here. So the next thing I'm going to do, this is just to be able to double it. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to fold it into two, right? So now that it's folded into two, I'm going to, because if you look at the front, you see that there's a curve on top of the bust. On the thumbnail, you'll find that the top part is curved. So the width I'm using here is about 5 inches, because when I'm done, I want to be left with about 4 inches at the side, right? This is going to be my center front. This part here, the ends here are going to the back, right? The ends here are going to the back. So I'm going to, on this side here, I'm going to just come up by about 1.5 inches. So guys, I'm going to mark 1.5 here, or 2 inches, it depends on you. I'm going to just mark 1.5. I'm going to just blend this 1.5 down, like just curve it into this line here. So guys, I've blended it, and you see where I stopped is where the side will be, because I folded it this way into 4, so that I'll figure out this is my center, folded it into 2, figured out my center, folded it into 4, figured out my side. So this is going to be my side. So that's where I made my blend to end. So I'm going to just cut this out. So guys, the way it is now, right side facing each other, I'm going to close up the side with the curve, right? So I'm going to make a stitch all the way and cover this side with the curve, leaving the straight end open, because that's the part I'm going to use to attach the dress. So guys, I've gone ahead and finished this here. So when I made my stitch, I also closed up the end, right? So you measure around your shoulder and then you give it the curve like I said, and when you're done on that side of the curve, you're going to join it and then join also the side. You see, I didn't say anything about the seam allowance because this is not going to reach to the zip, so I didn't add any seam allowance to it. I just used my exact round the shoulder measurement to do it because it's going to stop at the zip. So you're going to at this moment take your dress and put in your zip. So guys, I've joined the bottom of this to the dress, right? So my dress is actually done at this moment. All I have to do is to go back in, put my zip at the back. So this is the back here. I'm going to just put in this zip here. After putting in the zip, then I'll put in the band. So guys, as you can see, I've put in my zip. You see what I did here? I brought it down, and this is how I put my zip, about half an inch into this here. That's where my zip is. So you see, this is the point where my zip is here. So what I'm going to do now is to take this my cape here. I'm going to sew it this way. I'm going to turn this fabric to the wrong side. So from the side of the zip, so I put this cape on it, pinned it down. So this is on the wrong side of this dress here, right? So I pulled it all the way to the front. I notched this here. I notched the center of the cape, not the center of this here, and then pinned it together. So you see the notch here. So this is the center of my dress. This is the center of the notch of the cape. So, and I'm sewing it on the wrong side. So when I'm done, I'm going to go now and make a stitch all the way around. And then when I'm done, I'm going to just flip it inside out. Top stitch it. I'm just going to give it a snip and just cut to release the tension. Just notch it all the way around, and then when I'm done, I'm going to just flip it inside out. And when you flip it inside out, you can just go ahead and top stitch it, right? Just top stitch it. So guys, now what I'm going to do, I want to show you guys the back. So you see this side, that's why I said to sew the inside here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to flip this way, right? You're going to flip it, use this here to cover the zip part here. So I'm going to push this down. So you see, I'm going to just make a stitch on this side. You see, I've already done it on this. Just sew it and it will join your zip line. So you see, I'm going to use this now to cover the excess from my zip. So I'm just going to push it down. So guys, when I say top stitch, I mean this excess seam here, you can go ahead and sew it down on the body of this cloth, not on the cape. So this excess seams here, you can just make a stitch all the way down, so that that seam that you make will not be visible here, and then you go ahead and iron it. That's what I mean by top stitch. You don't make a stitch on top of this, no, just make the stitch on this here, and it will attach this excess seam facing down to the main top here. And then when you're done, you can use bias to finish up the sleeve. So basically, use bias to finish up this side of this, or you can also do the same thing here. Just fold it the way it is here and stitch it down. Like fold it this way and make a stitch down. But that might not look neat, so you might want to do the bias method. So the only thing remaining now is to finish up my sleeve here with bias or folding and get to the side. So just do that, and then you see my back is done. So that's basically it. See the body of the dress here, and you see my curve, and then I also need to iron it. You see the curve I was talking about. Once you do it, you get that curve from the picture. You see, this is the narrowest part here, and then it widens as it's going to the side. So this is the body here. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Bye.